Ovation. I love it.
I'm back this time with an unboxing or review. I don't do a lot of these, but this company reached out, asked me to do a review or install. I don't particularly have a car here to install this on, but I will do an unboxing and show you what we've got and give you my opinion on it. That's all I can really do, give you my honest opinion. Everybody knows we're a big dealer for Precision, Turbinetics, and Garrett. This turbo is a Maxpeeding Rods I'm sorry, GT30. Let me say that again so I get it right the first time. Maxpeeding Rods GT30. It's been here for about a month. We've been so busy I have not had a chance to open it and do this review, so I want to go ahead and get to it early this morning and show you what we've got. So let me go grab a knife. I'll get this cut open and pull it out. The box came in damaged like this. These are single layer boxes. You know, we try to double up on boxes when we ship a turbo, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, along with the turbo in the box, we've got a T3 flange, T3 oil drain gasket, the oil inlet gasket, and a banjo bolt, which I'm going to assume is for the oil feed. I'll see in just a minute. And a thank you card. How sweet. All right. I'll give you a close-up of this. Okay, what we've got here is their version of the GT30 T3 housing, and they use this extended GT4 bolt housing that uses a 3-inch flange. Garrett does this option as well. I never use these on Honda applications, only because if you see how long that housing is. I typically use a narrow T31 standard 4-bolt housing that doesn't take up as much space. These are hard to use on front-wheel drive apps where it's a bottom mount turbo, where the turbo is typically centered between 2 and 3 on the motor. It puts the downpipe out too close to the radiator. It just makes it more work to make the downpipe, whereas if I use a standard T31 housing that's flat on the side, even though it's 2.5 inch outlet, it gives you better clearance. And you know, if you go measure it down to millimeter, the 2.5 is going to be plenty. We can do up to like a 62 millimeter turbo and still be fine on that flange. So this extended housing, you see how small the turbine wheel is. It isn't really needed, but you know, some people like it. I just don't like to use them. That's why I can't really put it on anything, because I don't make a downpipe, you know, typically for any of our kits to use this flange. I actually have an order for one right now that I'll actually use this housing to bolt up just to get this flange placement. But again, it's a spacing thing. There's nothing wrong with the housing. It works on some apps, like if it's a rear wheel drive, works fine, because the turbo is typically pointed like that back towards the back of the car. But in front wheel drive apps, it just takes up more space than I like to use. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull the compressor cover off in the turbine housing, give you a closer look at that, and also look at the CHRA. Okay, I've got the CHRA apart, and here's where you get into some differences. This turbo is set up to use a banjo bolt. It's not like the orifice that Garrett would use in theirs. They supplied the bolt, which the bolt is non-restricted, and you got the tiny restrictor hole per se right there inside the CHRA. For the water, and this also uses a T3 drain flange. Garrett GT30 will use a T2 T25 style drain flange, slightly smaller. This is the same drain flange off a regular journal bearing style T3 turbo. Also, a Garrett water port is going to be 14 millimeter. Like the Turbonetics water ports will be 16 millimeter. This water port is bigger than both. It's like the large frame GT40, GT42, which those are 18 millimeter. So this being a direct swap in with the Garrett, you'd have to change your water ports to 18 millimeter, change your drain flange to T3, and change your oil inlet. You could use a oil inlet plate, which is I guess why they sent that gasket. Yeah, a bolt-on T3 style oil inlet plate would also work right here, and you would use the restrictor of your choice, I guess. They don't really have specs on it or anything like that. Compressor cover, similar in style to the Garrett cover. I can't really tell. Okay, it looked like this shroud wasn't actually cut through, but you can see it is cut through here, similar to the GT30. Same specs here, 4-inch inlet, 2-inch outlet. It's a big E cover is what they are. It's not like an S cover or SP. These are technically an E cover. Okay, and again, back over to the turbine housing. This one's a little beat up right there, but that's just from the shipping. This is a I don't know what AR because it's not on here. T3 extended conical GT outlet, and I went through that earlier about this, but that's that. Turbine, compressor, CHRA. Now I'll go get a set of calipers and measure the compressor and turbine wheel to see if they do match up. And I guess the best thing to do is to get a comparison. So it just so happens I have a Garrett GT30 sitting on the shelf over there, so I'll go grab it as well, and I can put the two side by side to show you. And what I did, I set them both side by side to give you a better idea of the height perspective I was saying earlier, of how much taller that extended turbine housing is versus a standard T31 turbine housing. These birds are wild. They're back there playing an event. I know taking this turbo apart is super exciting to watch. But I just want to show you, there's no, be transparent. I'm just going to put these two side by side and show you what we're working with right here. That is the Garrett to the left, the Maxpeedracing rods right here to the right. You can see the oil inlet I was referring to before. This is the Garrett. The Maxpeed. You can also see the length of the cartridge. The Maxpeed is a standard T3 cartridge length. The Garrett GT series stuff all has a narrower center cartridge. I can't talk. And the same goes for the water fitting. You can see the 18mm port here and the smaller 14mm port here. This will be the same on any Garrett GT28, GT30, GTX30, GT35. It doesn't get bigger until you get up to the GT40 size turbos. And then it goes to the 18mm, which is what this is. Now to measure them out, I mean, again, when they call it a GT30, they get the measurements about the same. They're both 56. And we'll get close up on the turbines. This is the Garrett. This is the Maxpeed. You can see the similarities. Doesn't mean they're going to perform the same, but you can see the similarities. Now I've got these two turbos apart. I'm going to, get them put back together. But I just wanted to show you what I've got, do the review. The Maxpeed, the Garrett, the original OG. I know, I guess you expect me to give a, what am I trying to say? A go ahead on, yeah, you should buy this, or no, you shouldn't. I'm not going to do that because I really can't. I know what my preference is. I know what I've been doing for years here, coming up on decades, and what I've been dealing with. So I've sold thousands of GT30s. They work great. They are great 250 to 450 horsepower turbos on a Honda application. Tried and true, never fail. So I can't say that there's a replica that's going to be equal to it without me using it and putting it through the ringer and it standing the test of time. The biggest thing with a turbo is, will it last? That is not something that you can say just by looking at it sitting on the table. They may do okay, they may not. I know what their history is, which you can Google that yourself and come to your own conclusion. But looking at the turbo looks okay. But again, you're comparing a $1,200 turbo that's got the R&D and it's got the history to, something that's newer to the market. I don't know how long they've been around, but the turbo sells for, I want to say, around $200. I'd have to go pull it up and see it. Again, this was sent to me. I didn't actually pay for it. But yeah, and I wonder if these housings swap over. And see, the housings do not swap over. You could not put this Maxpeed GT30 into this Garrett turbine housing. Wouldn't work. So they're not going to be direct replacements. They're not going to be the exact same turbo. They just have the same name, same wheel size. Other than that, there's plenty of difference. But again, if you want to try them out, try them out. You can get one cheaply. You can get it quickly. I want to say that turbo took 3 or 4 days to get here from the time they told me they shipped it. I think it shipped from like New Jersey. So New Jersey is East Coast. We're in the South, so it's not going to be a long transit time anyway. But again, that's it. I'll get these two turbos put back together, and we'll go from there. I got another video to do. We've got plenty of builds and plenty going on here. 2021 Accord was delivered yesterday. Stay tuned for the build on that. It's going to be interesting for all the new Honda owners. We're going to do basically everything that you can do to a 2021 turbo Honda Accord, from suspension, intercooler, charge pipe set, exhaust, upper down pipe, lower down pipe, front camber kit, rear camber kit, lip kit. That's all I can think of right now, but it's a long list of things we're doing to this car. Oh, we're putting the K tuner in it, and we'll get it on the dyno. So I'll try to get all of that into video, do some how-tos, and show you what we're working with here. But yeah, I've got that. You got an S2000 rebuild restoration. We're trying to bring it back from the dead. It came in rough shape. It's a local car. This was actually the first S2000 to ever be delivered to the Honda dealership here in Montgomery, and that was back late 1999, very early 2000. I remember the original owner taking me to the back of his shop and showing me this car bone stock way back in the day. Wasn't the nicest guy, but anyway, we'll get that done, get the Del Sol updates, get the twin turbo rear mount LS swapped 350Z updates, and I'll show you some more on the big turbo Mustang. I'm just waiting on a coupler to come in and we can put that back together. But again, a lot going on. I appreciate the patience. I appreciate y'all checking it out. I appreciate the orders. Again, thanks.